What's up, everybody? Just wanted to air out a few things a little bit better than typing it and leading it up to the person to put it in their own context. Better you just hear it, straight from my mouth. I've been noticing lately there's been a lot of anger, towards mainly primarily black people speaking up and speaking out and speaking loud and getting all types of disobedient and not being pacified and talking real loud about racism and stuff like that and supremacy and all these hot button open wound topics. And all I see a lot of backlash about that. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I hate all this. Y'all just won't let it go, and y'all keep talking about it. And I hate to see all this all the time. I hate this." You know what I hate? Racism. It's funny because, again, we're being put in a situation where we're just narrating the story. We're not writing it. We're just narrating it. And instead of getting angry at the villains of the story, you get mad at the narrators of the story. Now, that in itself can be interpreted as having a particular kind of privilege, but let's not speak about that because, people get offended by it. You start saying that they got privileges and they insist that being that they weren't born back in those days and they don't know what such privilege exists. They have no idea what you're talking about, and they don't want to be linked with that. They don't want to be labeled as the villain. And just because they themselves on an individual level feel consciously that they don't have a racist bone in their body, they live in delusion and dissonance about the fact that you have subconscious issues with racism regardless. Issues that when we point them out and we say, look, this is what you're doing and this is how this is the cause and effect of what you're doing. When it's pointed out and it's put right there objectively in front of you, you still refuse to acknowledge, and what I don't, what I can't allow not to be acknowledged? Racism. So we're just going to have to keep on this merry-go-round and keep going around in circles because the less we talk, the easier it is for y'all. You want to talk about how you didn't inherit nothing. You come from nothing just like we come from nothing. And so there is no disadvantage. This is an even playing field and so on and so forth. Not wanting to recognize the history. Not wanting to acknowledge how things get passed down, good and bad, mind you. And for those who had the advantage of having something passed down to them and yet not having anything at this time, that has more to do with somewhere along the line, some person in your family tree fucking it up for you. It has nothing to do with the fact that you never inherited anything. It's the fact that somebody fucked up the inheritance for you. Now there's a difference between fucking up an inheritance and never inheriting anything. It's a big difference. Now, and that's not to say that we didn't inherit anything. We inherited dysfunction, we inherited brainwashing, we inherited a subconscious feeling of subhuman level inferiority complex syndrome. We've inherited poverty, we've inherited a lack of knowledge of self, of culture, of heritage, of history. And now that we are uncovering a lot of stuff, we're kind of like it's almost like we're intellectual archaeologists nowadays. People are finding and unearthing things, documentations and books and writings, hieroglyphics and things of that nature that obviously and clearly point to things not being what they were told and shown us. You still refuse to acknowledge that. So people like me will continue to have a forum and a soapbox because you know why we keep talking about racism? Because racism exists. And it's as simple as that. As long as it exists, we will talk about it and we will fight against it. And we will continue to inconvenience you, and we will continue to inconvenience your timeline and your news feed and your IG. We will continue to inconvenience your social media experience. We will continue to inconvenience your day. Because you know what inconveniences our day? Racism. Have a nice day.